الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين وتابعيهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, inshallah, tonight we continue translating the book كيف تطيل عمرك الإنتاجي, how to elongate your productive lifespan, authored by Dr. Muhammad ibn Ibrahim al-Na'im. Today is the 20th of February 2010. This matches the 6th of Rabi' al-Awwal 1431, and we are doing the first section of the book relating to إطالة العمر بالأخلاق الفاضلة, elongating the lifespan by the noble morals. The Mustafa alayhi salatu wassalam, the chosen and selected one by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, informed about the possibility of elongating the lifespan by being diligent and careful to do some of the qualities of goodness and righteousness, some of the good qualities of righteousness and goodness, which in general, the Sheikh says, in general, these good qualities of righteousness, in general, they revolve around the art of dealing with people. The art, fan, right? Dealing with others is an art. It's something that you learn how to, use with others. So it deals with the art of dealing with people. And they are basically, as we mentioned before, three. He will talk about three things. The first one is silatul rahim, joining the ties of kinship, connecting with the blood relatives. The word rahim, the linguistic meaning of it is womb, the womb, because this is how people are related, right? So this is the origin, the linguistic meaning of rahim. So joining the ties of kinship, silat ar-rahim, meaning connecting with blood relatives. Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu said, سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول من سره أن يبسط له في رزقه وأن ينسأ له في أثره فليصل رحمه. The one who loves for his provision to be expanded and for his life to be extended, then let him connect with his blood relatives. The word yunsa here that is used in the hadith, the verb yunsa, it means to delay. It means to delay. Right? So instead of finishing at a certain point in time, you are giving more time. There is more delay. More minutes, more, hours, more days, more years. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu narrated that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Silatul rahimi tazidu fil umr. Connecting with the blood relatives increases the lifespan. The first hadith, was mentioned a number of times. It's in Bukhari and others. The second one is in Sahih al-Jami', hadith 3766. The hadith of Ibn Mas'ud, Silatul rahim tazidu fil umr. Connecting with blood relatives increases the lifespan. This is in Sahih al-Jami' al-Saghir, hadith 3766. The Sheikh said that Silatul Rahim is surely from the beautiful morals that Al-Islam encouraged and called to, and Islam warned against cutting off the blood relations, cutting off the ties with the kinship. For Allah Azza wa Jal, surely He called His servants to join the ties of kinship in 19 verses of the noble book. There are 19 ayat in the Quran encouraging to connect with blood relatives, He said, and he warned the one who cuts off the ties with his relatives. Allah warned him with la'an, cursing, and al-adhab, torment, in 3 ayat in the Quran. 3 ayat in the Quran, 3 verses. This is why the pious amongst the predecessors of this ummah, they were diligent and they were continuous in terms of connecting with their blood relatives, although the means of communication in their time was difficult. The means of communication, it was not the same as this time. The Sheikh said, as for our contemporary time or our current time, although there are many ways of communicating or connecting with others, he said the many means of transportation and communication, like the phone, like the car, like the mail, barid, there are so many in our time that people are enjoying, alhamdulillah. But then, although these means are available for us, yet there is still deficiency in terms of connecting with the blood relatives. These means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitated for the people, they are not being utilized in connecting with the blood relatives. You find, he said, you find one of us, maybe he will travel to a country for tourism, السياحة, for tourism, but then he would be lazy to visit one of his blood relatives while that blood relative is living in the same city, even if, he said, if I don't say maybe in the same locality, living in the same locality. The Sheikh said that the least of connecting with your blood relatives is to connect with them even by exchanging salam, by giving them salam, greeting. He said, would one of us, burden himself or, try to do his best and use the phone to call one of his blood relatives, at least just to call by phone and to give salam to them? Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma, he narrated that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Bullu arhamakum walau bis salam." Bullu arhamakum walau bis salam. This is a Hasan hadith. It's in Sahih al-Jami' 2838. Bullu arhamakum. Bullu, the linguistic meaning of it is to water and to moist, to make moist. Arhamakum, your blood relatives. Walau, even though, bis salam, even if you use just the means of giving salam. The scholars who explained the hadith, they said that basically bullu arhamakum means connect with them. That's what it means. But then when the relationships are not great, they say dry. They are dry relationships. They're not that close. So the hadith is saying to make them moist, to make the relationship moist, meaning to connect it, to connect with the blood relatives. So connect with your blood relatives even if it be by giving salam. The Sheikh said maybe one of us will say that part of the reasons why the relatives are being cut off nowadays, part of the reasons why is the fact that the people are overly busy today and that the cities are so wide and big. But then the Sheikh said the one who looks to the examples, to the likes of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Umar al-Faruq radiyallahu anhum, in the time when they were ruling, the Islamic State was very vast and wide. They were ruling that Islamic State, although they had a lot of duties to look after, that duties that are on their shoulders, and there weren't the modern means of communication and transportation in their time. Yet you find each one of them, he would make time, he would allocate part of his time to visit his blood relatives and to serve his neighbors. As for us, then you find the one of us maybe visiting, you would find the one of us visiting his friends a lot and meets with them a lot, but then he does not put on his schedule, to visit one of his blood relatives even once a month. The Sheikh said that the chief or the main reason for us being busied away from connecting with our blood relatives, maybe it's our lack of management or the bad management of our times, and that we're not organized, or maybe because we are not aware of the severity of the sin of the one who cuts off the ties of kinship with his relatives. Also, he said another reason why that we're not connecting with our blood relatives is كثرة الانشغال بالزائد من الدنيا. That we are abundantly busied by the extras, the extravagance of this worldly life. You find the one of us having a job in the morning, but then he would tie himself down by having another job that will busy him the rest of his day. And while he has sufficiency of provision, هو في كفاية من الرزق, he has enough money to go by, but then he takes another job, and this leads him to tafrit, that he will be negligent regarding the rights of his family, his children, his parents, and his blood relatives. So he said, the Sheikh encouraged us to be diligent to extend our lifespans by connecting with the blood relatives. For he mentions the hadith which says, "Man wasalaha wasalahu Allah, wa man qata'aha qata'ahu Allah." The one who connects with his blood relatives, then Allah will connect with him. The one who severs the ties, Allah will sever the ties with him. And there are actually so many ahadith about Silatul Rahim, the excellence of it, and what it means, and the warning against cutting off the ties of kinship. One of them is this hadith. The Sheikh did not reference it, but he just took some words of it. The one who connects with the kinship, with the blood relatives, then Allah connects with him. The one who severs the ties of kinship, Allah severs the ties with him. And this is a severe warning. Okay, so the first point, or the first thing that causes the lifespan to become longer, to increase, is connecting with the blood relatives. The second one is husnul khuluq, having good character, good morals. Aisha radiallahu anha said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told her, "Innahu man u'tiya min al-rifq faqad u'tiya hazzahu min ad-dunya wal-akhirah. Wasilatul rahim wa husnul khuluq wa husnul jiwar ya'murani ad-diyar wa yazidani fil a'mar." This is in the Musnad of Imam Ahmad and Al-Bayhaqi, and it is in Sahih al-Jami' al-Saghir, hadith 3767. Sahih al-Jami' 3767. It says that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told Aisha that the one who is granted gentleness, then he has been given his share of this life and in the next life. Gentleness, forbearance, kindness, softness, rifq. This is what the word means. So the one who is given this noble quality of being soft and gentle and kind, he has been given his share of this life and the next life. Then he said, connecting with the blood relatives and having good character and being a good neighbor, they establish and maintain households and they increase the lifespans. They establish and maintain lands or households, and they also increase the lifespan. The Sheikh said that husnul khuluq, having a good character, is a sifatun samiyah. Samiyah means lofty, is a lofty quality. He said with all what this word means, the word lofty, right? High, great. So good character purifies the one who has this quality, the one who has good character. He is purified from the pitfalls of the tongue, from the mistakes of the tongue and the mistakes of the heart, al-lisan wal-janan. And it also raises the person who has it. It makes him rise up to the levels and degrees of ihsan, being a perfect worshipper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Having good character makes one rise up to the level of perfection of worship, perfection of dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also it makes him perfect in dealing with the rest of the human beings. Abdullah ibn Mubarak rahimahullah, he said regarding tafsir husnul khuluq, regarding the explaining husnul khuluq, what does it mean to have a good character, what does it mean? He said, huwa talaqatul wajh wa badhlul ma'ruf wa kafful adha. It is to have a cheerful face, it is to offer acts of kindness, to perform acts of kindness, to offer, be generous towards the people and to do good to them. Badhlul ma'ruf. And kafful adha, withhold yourself from harming others. So talaqatul wajh, cheerful face. Badhlul ma'ruf, to offer all kinds of kind services to people. The third one is to withhold harming others. This explanation from Abdullah ibn Mubarak, Imam al-Tirmidhi mentioned it in his Sunnah. He mentions another statement in defining husnul khuluq from al-Wasiti, and that is, he said, هو أن لا يخاصم ولا يخاصم من شدة معرفته بالله تعالى. It is for one not to dispute, not to argue with others, and others wouldn't argue with him because of how much he knows, how much he is knowledgeable of Allah Azza wa Jal. He is so knowledgeable of Allah Azza wa Jal that he does not dispute, he does not argue with others, and even others do not choose to argue with him. Another statement is هو إرضاء الخلق في السراء والضراء. It is husnul khuluq, having good character, to please people in good times and in bad times. When you are in a good time or a hard time, you try to be pleasing to others. He mentioned another statement from Sahl. He said, أدنى حسن الخلق الاحتمال. The least of having good character is endurance. The least of good character is endurance, to endure, to go through, to basically accept whatever problems that happen to you, to withstand whatever problems you go through. الاحتمال وترك المكافأة, and not to fight back or not to treat others in equal way. So if someone treated you badly, the least of husnul khuluq, he says, is not to treat them back in the same way, right? Is to endure, is to withstand, to go through it, to take it, right? And not to do the same to them. He said, وَالرَّحْمَةُ لِلظَّالِمِ وَالِاسْتِغْفَارُ لَهُ وَالشَّفَقَةُ عَلَيْهِ. And also to be merciful towards the oppressor, to be merciful towards the oppressor, and to seek forgiveness for him, and to feel pity, to feel pitiful and sorry for him, right? الشفقة عليه. The Sheikh said that it is a shame for the Muslims that they are condemned by others, that they are having the morals or the characteristics of those who disbelieve. This is after the Prophet ﷺ clarified to us that the goal of his messengership, the goal of him becoming a prophet, بِعْثَتُهُ عليه الصلاة والسلام, the main goal of him becoming a messenger to the mankind is for him to perfect the noble characteristics, the noble qualities, the noble morals. إنما بعثت لأتمم صالح الأخلاق, as in the authentic hadith, I have been only sent to perfect the noble morals. So he said, our messenger, our Prophet ﷺ was sent to perfect that. He was only sent to perfect that. Yet at the same time, you find the Muslims being pointed at and being described as having very bad qualities. Right? This is a shame for us as Muslims, he says. He says also it is a shame to have these bad characters or bad characteristics, bad qualities within the Muslims after Allah Azza wa Jal, after knowing that Allah Azza wa Jal granted the person who has good character the heaviest of the Hassanat on the day of judgment. He mentions the hadith pertaining to that, how the person who has good character will have the heaviest scales of good deeds on the day of judgment. Abu Darda radiyallahu anhu said that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, ما شيء أثقل في ميزان المؤمن يوم القيامة من خلق حسن وإن الله لا يبغض الفاحش البذيء. This is in the Sunnah of At-Tirmidhi, and it is part of it is in the Sunnah of Abi Dawood, and it is in Sahih al-Jami' al-Saghir, Hadith 5726. It says that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, there is nothing that is heavier on the scale of the believer on the day of judgment. There is nothing that is heavier than good character. And surely Allah hates the obscene person, the one who is badhi, the one who uses language that is very very vulgar, very unsuitable, rude, right? So surely Allah hates the person who is obscene and who uses bad language. Also, he said, it is also a shame for Muslims to fall into behaviors that are bad after Allah Azza wa Jal has honored, and He is the He is generous subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He is Al-Ghani Al-Hamid, the completely free of any need, and He is the all praiseworthy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was so generous to the one who has good character by giving him a home in the highest part of paradise. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, أنا زعيم ببيت في ربض الجنة لمن ترك المراء وإن كان محقا وببيت في وسط الجنة لمن ترك الكذب وإن كان مازحا وببيت في أعلى الجنة لمن حسن خلقه. This hadith is in the Sunnah of Abi Dawood, and it is in Sahih al-Jami' al-Saghir, hadith 1464. This hadith says, I guarantee a house in the outskirts on the sides of paradise for the one who leaves argument. Who leaves argument even he was right, even if he was right. You know, you argue with someone, you know you're right and he is wrong. But then argument continues. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam guarantees a house on the sides of paradise, on the outskirts of paradise, for the one who stops arguing with the others, even if he is right, even if he is right and they are wrong. He just chooses to end the argument. Also he said, and a home or a house, he guarantees a house in the middle part of paradise for the one who leaves lying, even if he was joking. Even if he was joking. So this person tells the truth always. He does not lie at all, even if he jokes. When he jokes, he does not tell a lie. He gets a house in the middle part of paradise. And I guarantee a home in the highest part of paradise for the one who perfected, who made his character, who made his behavior good. So the one whose behavior is good, the one who strives hard to shape up and to perfect his character and his behavior, he will have a house in the highest part of paradise. The Sheikh said that look at too many of the pious predecessors, how they left behind a legacy, they have left behind inheritance for those who came after them. They left the greatest examples in good morals. They used to be minarets. They used to be examples to be followed, and examples that are used as guidance leading to good morals. So they planted good ways and good patterns for those who came after them. So their praiseworthy morals continued after their death. And the good mention of them, and they're being praised after their death. And they are given as an example of good behavior after they passed away. So their hasanat, their good deeds, continued after they passed away, and in this way also their lifespans have been extended. And look at yourself, the Sheikh says to us. Look at yourself. Did you leave behind, for those who are after you, did you leave behind a good moral or an excellent position or a stance that you took so that people will take you as an example? Did you leave anything behind you as inheritance? Did you leave anything behind in a way that you will be madrab al-mathal, in a way that people will give you as an example, for your family members, for your children, or for your friends? The Sheikh goes on to say, Hassin khuluqak, better your behavior. Better your behavior with your parents, with your blood relatives, with your spouse, with your children, and with all people. And try as best as you can to leave behind good mention after you, so that you will attain the goodness of this life and the goodness of the next life. And if you wanted to attain, if you wanted to achieve the degrees and the levels of the fasting person, the one who is performing night prayers in paradise, if you want to reach this position, this status, this high degree of the one who is fasting and performing night prayers, if you want to achieve that, مختزلا النصب والمصابرة, basically doing a shortcut, through a shortcut, and cutting down on tiredness and patience. Because if you are going to fast, always you need patience. and you need to, go through a lot of difficulties and tiredness. Likewise, for night prayers, you wake up at night and like that. You want a shortcut. You want to receive the same level as the one who is fasting and performing night prayers, but then in a shortcut, in a shorter way that will cut down on your patience and tiredness. Then what you have to do is just to better your morals, your behavior, to make your behavior better, so that you will attain this high degree in paradise. Aisha radiallahu anha said that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, إن المؤمن لا يدرك بحسن خلقه درجة الصائم القائم. This is in the Sunnah of Abi Dawood, and it is in Sahih al-Jami' al-Saghir, Hadith 1932. It says, surely the believer attains by his good character the degree or the level of the fasting person and the degree of the one who is performing night prayers. The Sheikh said that adorning yourself with good character is a balsam. Balsam Arabic and balsam in English too. Same word is used. The balsam is the remedy or the dressing that you put on the wound for healing. Like the one you put on the lip balm. Balsam, that's called balsam. Balsam in Arabic and balsam in English, right? It's the same word that is used. I don't know the origin is, which one is the origin of the other, who's translating from who, right? He said that adorning yourself with good character is a balsam that renews, revives your life. يجدد حياتك. And ويطيل بقاءك, makes you stay longer in this life. It renews your life, revives it, and also it makes you live longer. And وَيُثَقِّلُ حَسَنَاتِكَ, it makes your scale of good deeds heavier on the day of judgment. فَالْبَدَارَ الْبَدَارَ إِلَيْهِ, then rush to do it, rush to do that, to have that good character. The third thing that elongates the lifespan is al-ihsanu ila al-jar, being kind to the neighbor. The Sheikh said that being kind to the neighbor is one of the praiseworthy morals that will elongate the lifespan. Aisha radiallahu anha narrated that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, صِلَةُ الرَّحِمِ وَحُسْنُ الْخُلُقِ وَحُسْنُ الْجِوَارِ يَعْمُرْنَ الدِّيَارِ وَيَزِدْنَ فِي الْأَعْمَارِ. This hadith has already passed from Sahih al-Jami', that connecting with the blood relatives and having good character and being good to the neighbor, they establish and maintain households and they increase the lifespans. The Sheikh said that many people in our time, they have forgotten the rights of their neighbors and the excellence of exchanging visits or visiting the neighbor and being kind to them, to a point that some of them, they reach the point that they live long years or many years. They do not know the name of their neighbors, and maybe a strange man would come asking about the house of so and so of the people, and he doesn't know it. Then he would be surprised to know that he is one of his neighbors. He's being asked about him, he doesn't know him, but then he happens to be one of the neighbors. And the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, ما زال جبريل يوصيني بالجار حتى ظننت أنه سيورثه. This hadith is in Sahih al-Bukhari and in Sahih Muslim also. ما زال جبريل يوصيني بالجار حتى ظننت أنه سيورثه. Jibril continued to advise me, to counsel me regarding the neighbor, to a point that I thought that he will include him in the inheritance. Right? So Jibreel comes again and again to the Messenger ﷺ, counseling him about looking after the neighbor and being good to the neighbor and to tell the ummah to be good to their neighbors and so on and so forth. To a point he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, I thought that he will mention the neighbor along with the people who inherit from you. So you have relatives that inherit from you, and then the neighbor. He to a point that Rasulullah ﷺ thought that the neighbor will be. The neighbor is not included actually, but this is how much important Jibreel was coming again and again, alayhi salatu wasalam, to a point that Rasulullah ﷺ, he thought that now he will be mentioned as one of those who inherit. The Sheikh said that from the most major causes that led the people not to exchange visits between them and their neighbors, in what I think he says, is tarku salat al-jama'ah, that the people left praying in congregation in the masjid. For the masjid will open up the first channel for the people to know, to recognize one another. This is in general, the people in general and the neighbors in specific. So we should be careful as Muslims that we should visit our neighbors a lot and be good to them, to advise them, and to know that they have rights upon you, to recognize their legal rights upon us, so that we will be attaining long life and perfect faith, perfect iman. Abu Shuraih al-Khuza'i radiyallahu anhu narrated that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir falyuhsin ila jarih." This is in Sahih Muslim. It says, the one who believes in Allah and the last day, let him be good, let him be kind to his neighbor. The Shaykh goes on to say, look at Aisha radiallahu anha, when she heard from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam about how great the right of the neighbor is, and she wanted to be amongst those who establish this right of the neighbor by being generous or by honoring her neighbor. She asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, saying, Ya Rasulullah, inna li jarain, fa ila ayyihima uhdi? قال إلى أقربهما منك بابا. She asked, I have two neighbors. Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, I have two neighbors. So to which one should I give a gift? Which one should I give a gift? Which of the two neighbors? So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, to the one who has the closest door to you. Yani the closest neighbor. You start by the closest, and if you have extra things that you can give, then you go to the next one, and then to the next one, and then to the next one. But you start with the one who is closest to you, that the one has the closest door to you. I have two neighbors, so to which one of them, which one of the two I should be giving a gift? So he said, to the one who is closest from you, or closest of the doors to your door. The Sheikh then ends this section by saying, how many of a neighbor that you have that is waiting from you, waiting for you, that is, to knock at his door, to give him the gift of a smile and the gift of a salam, a greeting of peace. How many of a neighbor that you have who is waiting for you to knock at his door, to give them a gift, to give them a smile, or to give them salam, to give them the greeting of peace. So these are the third things that are mentioned in the authentic hadith, that they will expand the lifespan. They will expand the umr, the lifespan, meaning if you are good to your neighbors, then you will live longer. If you are having good character, then you are going to live longer. If you connect with your blood relatives, the more you do it, you're going to live longer, right? So those are the three things that are mentioned in this section. These are the only three things that are mentioned in the hadith, that they will increase the lifespan in reality. They give you more days, more years, you live longer, right? These are the three qualities that make you live longer. Inshallah, we will stop here. Next time, we'll do the second section, which is the longer one, and it has 10 parts there. The first part deals with as-salah, second one al-hajj wal-umrah, third one to be a mu'adhin, a caller for prayer, or that you should say exactly like what the caller for prayer will be saying. Fourth one, fasting. Fifth, night prayer during Laylatul Qadr, the night of decree. Sixth, al-jihad, striving in the cause of Allah. Seventh, righteous deeds during the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. Eighth, to repeat the recitation of some of the surahs, some of the chapters of the Quran. Ninth, al-dhikrul muda'af, multiplied dhikr, that is multiplied in reward. Number 10, qada'u hawa'ij nas, to fulfill the needs of the people. So he will go through each one, and he will, inshallah, mention the ahadith pertaining to each part, and how you can maximize the benefit or maximize the use of your lifespan by using these means that he will teach us, inshallah ta'ala. So we will stop here, inshallah. If there are, we still have some time. If we have some time, we do have some time, so inshallah. So if there are some questions, we can deal with that, either about the topic or outside of the topic. تفضل.
You mentioned that prolonged your time. There's three parts involved. One is your time will be more barakah. The second one is actual prolongation. When it comes to actual prolongation, what has to do with the qadr? Allah already described that you will die one day, but how that gains that qadr from actual prolongation of your time?
Okay.
Between the qadr and prolongation of time. If you can clarify, barakallahu.
Inshallah. We have to repeat the 3 lectures that passed. Yes. Basically, it's just there is no conflict. It's cause and effect. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of all causes leading to their effects. So these 3 means that were mentioned, that they prolong the life, these are causes leading to these effects. Allah knows subhanahu wa ta'ala if one will join the ties of kinship or not. Allah knows if you are going to be a good neighbor or not. And this has been already pre-recorded, right? Predetermined and pre-recorded. Exactly like whether you will have children or not is known, and it's pre-recorded. Exactly like when you make dua, whether it's going to be answered or not, this is already pre-recorded, whether you are going to make dua or you're not going to make dua. whether your dua is answered or not going to be answered. All of this is already known and pre-recorded, right? So by Rasulullah ﷺ telling us about these three means, it's like saying, if you want to have children, get married, right? Now Allah knows if you're going to get married or not. This is pre-recorded, but then Allah created causes leading to their effects, right? So the way to get children is to get married. You're not going to get them without that cause and effect. Exactly like this, having a good character is a cause leading for the elongation of your life, right? Now how that happens, Allah knows. Exactly like how it happens that you get married or you don't, you get a job or you don't. All of this is pre-recorded, right? So this is the case. This is a cause leading to the effect. As far as where is it recorded and like that, this came in detail, right? But the summary of that, what is in the knowledge of Allah, that will not change. What is in the knowledge of Allah, the end result, that will not change, because Allah knows what it is. But then He has given us these causes. He told us that these are the causes leading to these effects. We don't know what's the end. We do not know. Each one of us is written already, whether we are from the people of paradise or the people of the fire. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. But then each one of us will do the deeds and will take the means and the measures that will earn him and will end him up being either in paradise or in the hellfire. Allah knows that. We don't. But we are told, do good deeds, you will be in paradise. If you do evil deeds, then will be punishment. Right? So we know this. Allah knows what's the end. We do not say, well, since we're already labeled, then we don't need to do anything. Already Allah knows where we're going to end. Allah knows, but you don't. And I don't. And He doesn't. Right? Exactly in the same way, being a good neighbor and having good character and connecting with the blood relatives is a cause. Cause leading to the effect of having longer life. Right? Having longer life. So this is the case. Allah knows best. Inshallah, the first 3 lectures are recorded, and I don't know if they are already on the website or not. Are they on maybe the audio? I think I've seen some of the audios, but not the videos, right? Yeah, I think I have seen some of them. Inshallah, we went through the details of that, translated the words of Imam al-Nawawi, the words of Ibn Taymiyyah, 2 quotations from Ibn Taymiyyah, another quotation from Al-Hafiz ibn Hajar. All of that about what does this mean to have a longer life, right? So inshallah, you refer to that, you will hear the long translation about that, inshallah. Wa iyyakum. Any other question or anything related to the subject or outside of the subject? I'm just trying to look here quickly if I find it, because this is a different copy of Fatawa. Yes, 367. Yes, تفضل إن شاء الله.
You know that
one of the minor signs of the Day of Judgment is time getting shorter. Fast. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, what's the interpretation of this, and does that have anything to do with what we've been talking about today? And the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand my question?
يعني how does it relate to?
It does does it at all relate to what we're talking about?
Yes, well, it relates a lot because the Sheikh is going to teach us some techniques that if we use, regardless, even if the time is getting shorter, yani less barakah in it, you don't do much in one day, in 24 hours, he will teach us techniques where we will achieve a lot in a very short time. In a very short time. And that is the example of that. I think I gave examples before, but to remind you of that, for instance, Salat al-Duha. Just one example of Salat al-Duha. This is just 2 rak'at. 2 rak'at that doesn't take 5 minutes. Right? That you pray about 10 minutes after sunrise up to 10 minutes before Dhuhr. That's the time of Salat al-Duha. Right? This Salat al-Duha, those minutes that are less than 5 minutes, if you pray these 2 rak'at, you get rewards 360 hasanat. 360 hasana for every joint or body part that you have. As in the hadith that the human being has 360 so joints. So we are encouraged to donate, to give one donation or do one good deed for every joint. So if you do that, it's by the end of the day you save yourself from the fire. Right? So this is something that is very little in terms of action. Doesn't take much, doesn't take much time, but it's very rewarding. It's very rewarding. Right? Now, if you do this after you pray Salat al-Fajr, you sit in the place wherever you prayed Salat al-Fajr in congregation. The hadith does not mention the masjid. It mentions Salat al-Jama'ah. Right? If you pray in congregation and sit doing dhikr and remembrance until sunrise, 10 minutes after sunrise you pray Salat al-Duha, that is worth the reward of a Hajjah and the Umrah. Right? Imagine the Hajj and the Umrah, how much time and how much money and how much effort it will take. You achieve that by these 2 rak'at. Right? Now, if you have gone to work, for instance, because you need to, you cannot stay in the masjid, or after the jama'ah, you went to work. If you get a chance within this time frame, 10 minutes after sunrise up to 10 minutes before Salat al-Dhuhr. Nowadays we're talking about between about 7:15 or 7:20, because Fajr, Shuruq is like 7:05 تقريبا. So if we're talking about 7:15 in the morning up until around 12:20 or 12:25. This is the time of Salat al-Duha. Now if you even went to work, and while you're working you have a chance, like a break, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you use that break to pray al-Duha, Salat al-Duha. That is the worth of Umrah. Right? If you go for Umrah, the brother from Medina Hajj, we were just talking this past week, he said to go for like 1 week, it's about $400 aside from the ticket, that is. So you need about $2,000 and more. Plus you need to take time off of work to go perform Umrah and come back. You get that in those 5 minutes. If you just stop what you're doing, the work you are doing, you stop, you pray these 2 rak'at and go back to work. That's the reward of a Umrah. So you have work that, if you go for a Umrah, you will spend a lot of time and a lot of money. You can shorten all of that by just being careful and diligent, not to miss these 2 rak'at. Many of us, they just don't. It's not a must. It's not compulsory. It's not fard. It's only voluntary. You do it, you get reward. You don't do it, there is no sin involved whatsoever. But then this is the reward. This is the reward. And some of us might be in a place where they could easily do this, and they don't. They just don't. So this is basically what he is going to try to teach us, and knowing that as the time goes, we are nearing the end of time, the barakah, the blessings in the time gets less and less, right? And this is true, like a day and a week is just passing so fast, right? And now we are in the month of February. Soon, in about mid-August, or the third week of August, Ramadan is back. Now, when did Ramadan pass? It's just not far away. That is the case. So he will try to teach us those techniques where we will use the short time, like less efforts, yet you will get a lot of reward. That's basically the next 10 parts. He will be talking about that. Now, since he mentioned Husn al-Khuluq, I always like to mention this piece from Sheikh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, from his wasiyah called al-Wasiyah al-Sughra, the short legacy. He says, جماع الخلق الحسن مع الناس. The collective word about good character with people is أن تصل من قطعك بالسلام والإكرام والدعاء له والاستغفار والثناء عليه والزيارة له. To connect with the one who cuts you off by giving him salam, by honoring him, making dua for him, seeking forgiveness for him, and saying words of praise about him. This is the one who cuts you off. And الزيارة, to visit him. وتعطي من حرمك من التعليم والمنفعة والمال. And to give the one who treated you as an underprivileged, the one who withheld his benefit from you, prevented you from attaining benefit, you benefit him, you give him. You give those who withheld benefit from you. You give them of teaching, benefit, and money. وتعفو عمن ظلمك في دم أو مال أو عرض. And for you to forgive, to pardon the one who oppressed you. To pardon the one who violated your right in terms of blood, wealth, or honor. Right? Blood, wealth, or honor. So connect with those who cut you off, to forgive, to give those who prevented you or those who withheld benefit from you, and to the third one is to pardon those who oppressed you. This is actually part of an authentic hadith, but he explained it. The hadith says, صِل مَنْ قَطَعَكَ, connect with the one who cuts you off. وَأَعْطِ مَنْ حَرَمَكَ, give the one who withheld benefit from you. And وَعْفُ عَمَّنْ ظَلَمَكَ, and pardon the one who oppressed you. So he explained it in these words. Then he said, as for the great character that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam with, as in the Quran, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ, in Surah Nun wal Qalam, surely you are upon, or you have a great character. Now he says he's going to explain this great character that is the description, the quality of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said, فَهُوَ الدِّينُ الْجَامِعُ لِجَمِيعِ مَا أَمَرَ اللَّهُ بِهِ مُطْلَقًا. Then it is all the religious duties, all the religious injunctions, all of them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered. This is what Mujahid, this scholar, said, and other than him. And it is the practical implementation of the Quran. وَهُوَ تَأْوِيلُ الْقُرْآنِ. As Aisha radiallahu anha said about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as in Sahih Muslim, كان خلقه القرآن. His character was the Quran. His behavior was the Quran, meaning the practical implementation of the Quran. He goes on to say, وَحَقِيقَتُهُ, and the reality of that. The reality of good character, having good character. Al-khuluq al-azim, the great character that Rasulullah ﷺ had, the great morals that he had. It is the practical implementation of all that is in the Quran. He said, and the reality of this, if you want to know the reality of this good character, right? It is حقيقته المبادرة, to rush. المبادرة, to rush. إلى امتثال ما يحبه الله, to rush to carry out what Allah loves. بطيب نفس وانشراح صدر, with a self that is good and pure, and with a chest that is comfortable and open, right? The reality of having a great character, which is the practical implementation of all the injunctions in the Quran, it is to rush to do what Allah loves with a soul, with a self that is pure and good, and with a chest that is being open, being at ease by performing those duties. Yani, you are inclined towards doing what is good, what Allah loves. You are inclined to doing it with a good soul, not like being like dragged and being hammered and being pushed and shoved to do this and that, right? Having this great character, which is applying what is in the Quran, the reality of it, to rush to carry out Allah's orders, whatever Allah loves, with a good soul, with a good self, pure self, and with a chest that is open, and a chest that is at comfort and ease to carrying out what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. That is from the short legacy of Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala. I think we come to the end of the session, inshallah. I would like to remind again, inshallah, that we are planning to have a group, or like a mailing list, basically, for the people who are attending those halaqat on Wednesday and on Thursday and on Saturday, inshallah. Those who are coming and physically attending those lectures in the different mosques, or those who are attending online through the live broadcast. The reason for having this mailing list is that basically we are going to be trying to send points of benefits from these lectures that we are doing, and we do not want to send these to everybody on our mailing list, because we have a lot of people on the mailing list. Some of them might not be interested in having more than one email in 1 week, because if there is a delay in a class or there is a cancellation of a class, we can inform you of that just through the email. If, as I said, there are points of benefit that we want to send you, then we will send them, we will email them to you. We will allow you also to ask your questions through email. We don't have to do it like on the spot, but then we can collect these questions and then go through them, allocate one session to answer the questions, and so on and so forth. So this is something that is going to be very beneficial, and then it could be a start for the future, that we can even do more, right? Like a small institute, right? Where we inshallah have different subjects taught online, and physically for those who want to come in a masjid and attend it, or online for those who are following from home. And we are going to choose as the books that we are doing now, books that are beneficial, books that are authored by scholars that are trustworthy and dependable. This is basically what we're planning to do. And inshallah, as I said, this will be a nucleus for, or a start for an institute that will basically teach different things, different branches of knowledge, fiqh or hadith or tafsir or the likes of that. We can, if we have a good audience, then we can include the scholars and the students of knowledge to participate with us in following these lectures. Basically, they can participate, we can translate for them. There are some of them who already know English, they can participate also in teaching online. And we can consult with the scholars and students of knowledge in terms of coming up with a plan of study, where we start with the smaller books and then we go to the bigger ones. So if you finish one level, then you finish level 1, then you are doing level 2, and then doing level 3. And the Arabic language is included in that also. We can plan for Arabic classes to be conducted in this way. So there are so many benefits to this, but we do not want to dream big and then the feedback is so small and little. This will only serve to basically put us or put you or put whoever participates in a state of despair, wal-'iyadhu billah, right? So we do not want to do that unless we get some movement or some activity. We see that there are people who are interested, people who are attending, people who want to have this and to go on with it. So if we see that, then we move to a next level. Otherwise, what we're doing, alhamdulillah, is also, there's a lot of blessing and there is a lot of khair and barakah in it. The numbers don't really matter as long as we are busying ourselves with something that is good. But then if we have more people that are interested, then we can plan it in a better way and it will be more beneficial for everybody, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakumullahu khairan. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.